Good evening, San Bernardino. I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight. We are here for another agenda review for our city council meeting that is taking place tomorrow night. So let me make sure that we are up and running and everybody can see. It's a pretty good agenda, I think. And so if you want, please share the feed and let more people watch, because it's the more you know, right? The more you can do. Okay, so we are good. Hi, Scott. Glad you can join. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so we can see the agenda together. Hang on one sec. Make sure. Okay, people are telling me, hang on. Okay, I will wait. I hope you guys are doing well. It is a very warm evening and I hear it's just going to stay warmer. So always a good time, never a dull moment. Let me make sure we can see everything. There we go. Okay. All right. Give it a couple minutes. Let's just jump in. If you have any questions, you can always ask. Okay, so here is the agenda for Wednesday, August 16th, tomorrow. Closed session starts at 5:30. They have a conference with legal counsel on existing litigation. So this is the City of San Bernardino versus Fox Property Holdings, LLC, for a Superior Court case. This is, I believe, Fox Property Holdings is a cannabis. So I have to look into that if that's been a long-standing one. And then Blanca Gamez v. Jonathan Plummer et al. At the San Bernardino Superior Court. This is a related to PD or a city employee in this case. And then they have B, the public employee appointment of the city manager. So as you guys know, we are still in the recruitment for the next city manager of the city of San Bernardino. This has been a really interesting case and a really interesting conversation going on. And I think, you know, who comes to run our city is extremely important, and how we are making that decision as a collective group. Although the residents get no say, we kind of do have a say with our representatives sitting in the room. I personally, as I pointed out, July 7th, or I'm sorry, June 7th, am extremely disappointed in this process already. I think that the mayor and council members, especially Fred Schredt, have gone out of their way to really muddle the waters. And you know, I asked for them to stay objective, and you know, as we know, and has been publicly disclosed, you know, Helen had her former boss at the city of West Covina apply, and Fred had his selection of a former city attorney apply. And it's one thing to want a good candidate. It's another thing to be beholden to all of these crony connections. And so keep an eye on this. I don't want anybody to think that just because Valdivia is gone that we've achieved so much that we can't go backwards, because quite honestly, with the things that are going on in our city, we're backsliding. And this is why paying attention is so important, and hearing the conversations, because nothing is a secret. Nothing is a secret in government. And just stay vigilant. Stay very, very vigilant on this. Okay, next we have invocation and pledge of allegiance. They will give a closed session report, and then presentations of proclamation for California Native American Day in the city of San Bernardino, which will be September 22nd. Demand Management Incentive Program, check presentation from the San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District, and a proclamation for International Overdose Awareness Day in the city of San Bernardino. And then a lead connector update to the mayor and city council for Ward 6. Jessica Scott, absolutely, corruption still exists, and that's very sad. There will be appointments, so they are going to appoint James Pearson to the library board. Then it'll open up for public comments if you want to speak on anything on the agenda and not on the agenda, whatever your heart feels like, you can definitely do. City manager will give his update, and then we'll move into the consent calendar. So they are going to approve pre-approval travel for the mayor for 2023, 2024. And this just lays out, remember that the mayor cannot travel without the permission, the mayor cannot travel on taxpayer money without the approval of council. So this is going to go through. They're going to approve the minutes for the commissions and boards and citizen advisory panels. And then authorization to apply and accept the Community Resiliency Centers Program Planning Grant. So the city is going to receive $500,000. Very nice. Number 9, approving the capital improvement project manager job classification. So it looks like there's been some amendments made to this. So let's look real quick. It's recommended that the mayor and city council of San Bernardino adopt the resolution establishing the capital improvement project manager job classification, authorizing the city manager's designee to add 1 full-time employee for the fiscal year 23-24, amending the citywide salary survey for full-time, part-time, temporary, and seasonal. Okay. I don't know why that, I guess there was something there, but they want to add a new job for a capital improvement project manager. Now, I don't think this is a consent calendar item. I like always say the things that I think are worthy of a discussion should be discussed. So if you think so too, you can always speak on it. Item 10, Library Literacy Program Grant Fund, full-time staff technical correction. So it's recommending that the mayor and city council approve a technical correction to the grant funding that was accepted in November of last year and increase the library's department authorized staffing by 2 full-time positions, 1 assistant literary program coordinator and 1 library assistant for the year. Now, I fully support the library having their staff. Again, I don't think it's a consent calendar item. I think they although this is just a technicality of something, I still think it's worthy of if someone wants to talk about it. Item 11, Ingram Library Lease Agreement. They want to approve a 36-month lease for $110,000 with 3 12-month options extended for the Ingram Library branch space at the New Hope Family Life Center, and authorize the agency director service to issue an annual purchase order not to exceed $36,828. Okay, so there's some revenue coming in. An amendment to the library internet service agreement with Columbia Telecommunications Corporation for $84,000. 13, accept the California Department of Developmental Services Social Recreation Grant in the amount of $156,000. There's an error there, but I think what's pretty cool is the amount of grant opportunities that the city is finally receiving, and this really, because remember, all money that we receive from grants helps offset the costs out of the general fund and out of the budget. Specifically allocated for each department. So these are good things. These grants are good, and as long as they're managed correctly and the money is going to what needs to go to and what it's been designated for, I have no problem. I'm really happy with this. An amendment to the professional service agreement between the city of San Bernardino and Redwood Private Security for park patrol and citywide parks, citywide events. Okay. So I've had some questions about this. The city is going to hire a team of park security. And they're supposed to be basically from dawn to dusk, moving people in and out, making sure the parks are clear. I am all for this. I think however, and here's my however, because I think Liddy Gutfield and her team are doing everything that they can to keep our parks as nice as possible, to reinvest into them, to come up with great things for recreation in our city. Here's $180,000 from their cultural development fund for park patrol and citywide events. They're talking, I think Liddy had said upwards of $1 million to fund like 8 positions. Here's the issue. All of this is to combat homelessness in the parks. We are what the city stopped PD from doing was being able to enforce any type of regulations in the parks. And now here's the alternative: park rangers. I understand the need for security. I understand, but I think what we're doing is this is the Band-Aid on the bullet hole approach to really addressing the root of the cause of the issues in the parks, which are the homeless. So just be aware of that swirly conversation underneath what really private security in the parks is about, truly. Okay. Accept donation from Hillwood in the amount of $20,000. Authorize the Director of Administrative Services to the general fund budget in both revenue and expenditures. So this is pretty cool. So the Dodgers, I believe it's the Dodgers. No, Hillwood. I'll go with Hillwood. I can't remember exactly who they're attached to. Is donating $20,000 to the city, and they're going to make it so kids in that play sports get their jerseys for free. And so, as you guys know, a lot of kids can't partake in certain things because it's expensive. Recreation sports are very expensive. So I think this is pretty cool. Okay. Technical revision for the purchase of cellular site simulator equipment. The city manager to execute good purchase agreement between the city of San Bernardino and Tactical Support Equipment in the amount not exceeding $687,000. Okay. So this is something that Scott wants to discuss. So 16 needs to, this is Scott Rhodes, this is his comment. If you're not seeing it, Scott Rhodes, 16 needs to be pulled and seriously considered. Stingray device use has been involved in many lawsuits for illegal search and seizure. Okay, let's take a look at this because I think that's a really good point. So to page 282, give me my backup material. Interesting. Wait a minute. Maybe that was just the wrong page. Okay, let's go up. Okay, so this is for the police department. Okay, executive summary. During the original purchasing process, staff identified a bidding error in validating the initial RFQ. Tactical support equipment was the winning bid for the second RFQ process at the cost saving of $161,786 from the prior bid. The mayor and council previously approved the purchasing and budget amendments necessary to fund the requested equipment, so no additional costs are associated with this request. Staff requests the mayor and council authorize the execution of goods purchase agreement with the TSC. Okay, so the issue is the use of Stingray devices. And I am not seeing, oh, I guess it could probably be in the purchase order. Let's see about here. Okay. So here's the contract. prices, changes, payments. We're going to get to the summary of goods. So let's see. Okay, keep going, keep going. Okay. The police provides both patrol. The city has historically been identified suffering high crime. The main base station must allow authorized investigators the ability to locate cellular devices after a search warrant or a court order has been issued for the use of the device in compliance with the state law. The main base station must provide a direct finding component and software along, which includes all of the necessary power amplification, filtering, cabling, antennas, and mounting rack systems required. I see. Okay, so the Stingray tracks cellular, I get it. Okay. I think anytime the citizens are concerned to make sure that what they're saying is that none of this can be initiated without a court order and a warrant from the courts, that we need to make sure that we're adhered to. So I'm with you, Scott, that they're absolutely, I think the council should just double, triple check, like, hey, you know, if we're gonna move forward with this, which they already had, it already been pre-allocated, that we're gonna use it right. In the event, as you're saying, it's already causing legal problems. So great catch on that. I think that's a really good, important thing to talk about and to look at. Okay. See, guys, this is why it's so important. And a lot of you, like, we go through this. I don't have knowledge on every single thing that comes through. This is why doing this as a community is so vital, because you guys have your specialties, you know, certain things, and it's important. So as Scott's saying and pointing out, Stingray devices pull all signals, not just the target. So look, as technology advances, as the ability to track people moves forward, like, these are all things that people, you know, should be concerned about. And I think the police department and the city should take high consideration too. So thank you, Scott, for that. 17, award design service agreements for Sierra Way storm drain project. So this is interesting. I actually had another resident reach out to me by Mr. James Albert, and he brought up such a great point. So it's recommended that the mayor and city council of the city of San Bernardino approve the design service agreement with Ludwig Engineering and Associates in negotiating $179,000 for the Sierra Way storm drain project. Now, this is a good project. No one is saying it's not a good project. In fact, people are looking forward to this project. What the concern is that this storm drain project will partner with the county, and what will end up happening is through flood control, that this water will then be diverted to the ocean. And this is definitely an opportunity for us to look at, you know, reclaimed water, what we're doing with it, where, you know, recycling it, putting back into the ground, and not just wasting this away. And I absolutely agree with James. I think it's such a great point, and I love that he's, you know, so majorly environmentally sound in all of this. And so if you are someone that you know, moves towards the water reclamation, reuse, recycle side of things, I think this is something you would want to come talk on and say, look, happy for this project, great for the partnership, but let's make sure that we are securing our water. Once it touches, you know, and goes down through our way, which it does every year, Sierra Way Sierra Way floods whenever it rains. Let's make sure that we're not losing our portion of what we can reuse for our groundwater and other uses. So great, awesome. This could be pulled as well. 16, 17, let's pull them and have a discussion. 18, approve the rail storage and facility maintenance facility on Arrow Maintenance Facility. Operation and maintenance covenant agreement for stormwater treatment devices and control. Thank you, James. Thank you for bringing that up. Control measures between the city and the county transportation for water quality management. Another hear more water quality and building. So, so here's something, as far as this is concerned, I think this would just be great as a discussion, only to really explain to people what's going on. What, aero maintenance facility, like what exactly, how does that work? What's happening there? It's not a super big important topic, but I look at stuff like this, I'm like, it'd be great to learn more. 19, amendment number 4, the agreement for the ERSC for the State Street extension. This is so, let me tell you, this is so cool. I've driven over there. It's recommended the mayor and council of the city of San Bernardino authorize the city manager to execute agreement number 4 to the professional engineering services agreement with with the Engineering Resources of Southern California, adding engineering construction support services in the amount of $83,485, increasing the purchase order not to exceed $349,995. The State Street expansion project is so big, and it's going to be great. This is a project, as Councilwoman Kimberly Calvin has said multiple times, was on the books for over 20 years, and the funding was continually pulled away, redirected, sent out of the 6th Ward and off the west side. This is going to be a great opportunity for the 6th Ward expansion. So, yay, totally support that. Agreement with Vulcan Materials Company. So they want to purchase of asphalt, concrete materials, related supplies, goods and services agreement, not to exceed $100,000. That's like for street filling. It's recommended number 21, adoption of ordinance MC 1596, granting citation authority to security guard personnel for violations of the San Bernardino Municipal Code on city property, all wards. It is recommended that the mayor and council of San Bernardino adopt the ordinance amending chapter 9, the San Bernardino Municipal Code, granting citation authority security guards. So again, this is for a city-owned property. I think this really relates to, absolutely want to enforce the laws, want to enforce the codes. What is that going to get? Where is that going to get us? So I think 21 should be pulled as well as part of a greater conversation. What does this mean? Like, what are you writing these citations for? What's the potential revenue? Like, talk about it to the public and let us know why this is important. Okay, now we are in our discussion. So these are the things that the council will be able to have appropriate conversations about without pulling them off the consent calendar. So designation of voting delegates and alternates for the 2023 League of California Cities annual conference and expo in September. So as you guys remember, this is big, and so San Bernardino has been so underrepresented for a long time. And if you remember, last year, our council went up to the league and fought to keep our sales tax from the warehouses in our city. And so I'm super glad that they're here. I know that Councilwoman Calvin played an extreme role in that. I think she's the voting delegate. I hope she remains the voting delegate, and then whoever else they put along there. But there's been a lot of meaningful. Let's see if there's any recommendations on that real quick. Who's 506? Let's see what's happening. I think the numbers are off. Is it just me? Okay, the page, I'm sorry guys, it looks like the page numbers are off. Yeah. Okay. Discussion, expedite the conduct of business, 2 alternates, voting delegates. Okay, so there's no, right now, this is just an open discussion. Pretty cool. Okay. All right, let me go back to page, I think 5. So yeah, they'll be picking who they want for that. Item 23, administrative policies, updated naming and renaming of city parks, recreational facilities, and amenities. So I know that this had been a discussion. Whatever they're going to rename things, I believe a lot of stuff to reassociate with the historical nuances of the city. So we'll see what they have to say about that. appropriation and city manager authorization to approve, various emergency nuances and building healthcare and safety abatement costs. So proclaiming the need to prioritize nuisance and building and safety abatement costs, and authorizing the city manager to approve various code enforcement, health and safety code assistance to displaced individuals. Approving an appropriation in the amount of $500,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funds related to various nuisances and property abatement. So this is important, but again, let's talk about what they're really talking about. And I think today it was posted. Yeah, it was today. Jamin Crawford posted the pictures of 4th Street University, that just horrible building where people are living in just deplorable conditions. This is what this would be for, is to help people get out of red tag buildings that are nothing but a public nuisance. And then the city going after these, basically these slumlords and these people that own buildings that are just completely run down. And I'm going to tell you guys something. The new city manager of the city of Barstow went in and red tagged all these old seedy hotels who were basically allowing entire families, like 8 people, to live in one room, and shut them all down. And we're like, no, you're not going to do this anymore. And worked with the county to relocate people and get them in better living conditions. This is what we need to do here. This is absolutely what we need to do here. And I agree with you, Leslie. We have way too many slumlords in San Bernardino. And one of the reasons that we have so many slumlords is, first of all, they literally fund our elected officials. We saw that, we were calling it out. And 2, there are very limited rules. And I'm going to stand on this soapbox forever, that we need to shift the municipal code and the business licensing to state that you cannot renew your business license as a landlord if your units are not inspected every year and up to code. Now, people are like, oh my God, but that'll raise rents. And not, look, first of all, if you cannot maintain your property, then it doesn't matter. They're raising the rents anyway. People are living in rundown apartment buildings at some of the highest costs. And you hear it all the time. Oh my God, $1,800 to live in a studio in the ghetto. Like, what does that even mean? How do you even, and so people are defining an entire portion of the city, and black mold, lead paint, no hot water, the electrical doesn't work, drugs. I mean, look, if we can keep a quality of life and a standard of landlordship in the city, I really think we can change the game. But you have to have the political will to do this. And I know the mayor loved the mantra, but we're not here to shame and blame. That's exactly what needs to happen. Is our people need to be shamed to the fact that they stop taking political donations from slumlords, hanging out with them and inviting them to their political events. And they need to take the blame for the creation of these and allowance of these problems. Who do we blame? Who are we blaming here if it's not ourselves in power for allowing these things? It kind of sounds, because it sounds like, no, let's not do any accountability. Remember, the city of San Bernardino has failed for 5 decades with smiles and handshakes and pats on the back and hanging out with people's. That's how we got here. So I really, and just from a conversation just on this, I think it's worthy that we need to move forward. So I like that one. 26, consideration of premium pay for the mayor and city council. Determine if the mayor and council shall or shall not receive premium pay that is being provided. This, I'm so glad this is back. It was just so, hey, look, this is why, one, I want to make sure that I keep up with these agenda reviews, because there's some people that just love to spread bad information to the community. They have nothing, going for their lives. So they're like, oh my God, and the council's going to get a bonus, and they voted no. No, the council never voted themselves a bonus. And that's why nobody who said that could provide any type of documentation that proved that. And so this is great. I guess the question has been raised enough, like, let's have that just be out in the open, because, getting the community riled up on a lie is really disingenuous. And I think Esmeralda Negretti really caused a big problem with that. And so I'm glad that this is going to be back, because as a commissioner in our city, I think understanding agendas, I think reading the backup material is vital to her position. And if that can't happen, I think we need to, relook at these type of things. So something to consider. Okay. Number 26, proposed substantial amendment to fiscal 2021 annual action plan associated with community development block grant, coronavirus relief funds. It's recommended the mayor and council of the city of San Bernardino conduct a second public hearing to obtain citizen comments on the proposed substantial amendment to the 2021 annual action plan for the community development block grant, coronavirus relief funds, and approve the substantial amendment to the fiscal 2021 action plan for community development block grants, coronavirus relief funds. All right, let's delve into this real quick. So I think everything's a page off. We're going to go to, okay, they're a couple of pages off. All right. Scott saying no. Let's find out. It's recommended that the mayor and city council of San Bernardino conduct all this stuff I just read. Approve the termination of the community development block grant coronavirus sub-recipient agreement between the city of San Bernardino and the housing authority, and authorize the city manager designee to take any future actions and execute any further agreements or documents as necessary to effectuate the submittal of a proposed substantial agreement. Okay. On March 20th, 2020, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act of 2021, the CARES Act, was signed into law. Under the CARES Act, Housing and Urban Development allocated a little over $2 million to the Community Development Block Grant to the city of San Bernardino to fund activities that prevent, prepare, and respond to the coronavirus. Absolutely. We remember all this, right? Eviction prevention program, the senior program, feeding people. We were all here for that. On September 11th, 2020, HUD announced another round of allocation for the city, that the city received $1.7 million-ish in CDBG coronavirus round 3. Both CV1 and CV3 have a requirement to be used to prevent, prepare, and respond to the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, let's get to modern day. Now, HCBS has diligently worked to provide rental assistance to the residents of San Bernardino and has provided approximately $720,000 in rental assistance, and they have determined with the termination of the state's COVID state of emergency, they are unable to spend the remainder of the $340,000. The city has unspent the CV1 and CV3 funds, and the city is recommending terminating the sub-agreement with HACSB and allocating up to $1.1 million to provide emergency shelter for approximately 200 homeless individuals and families, including supportive social services and prevent the spread of coronavirus among shelter occupants. Oh, okay. Okay, Scott. So Scott did not say no on 26. He said no on 25. Okay, so here we go. So what this is doing is this is reallocate. Actually, this is ending our agreement, reallocating upwards of $1 million to address homelessness. Yes, this is what we need to be doing. 200 is a great start. This is like. This is good. This is good. I like this. And with this, though, making sure that they do what they're actually saying that they're going to do, and following it. I think that, you know, this is for the outreach, the homeless outreach prevention, the Hope campus, and it's approximately $2 million. But this is a great opportunity to reuse funding for the way that we feel is appropriate and needed in our community. And hey, you can't say no to that. So, okay, I like 26. Scott, I'm glad you like 26. All right. Items to be considered for future meetings. Review contracts of all city-owned revenue-generating properties to see if the terms are beneficial to the city. Shandon Hills Golf Course. That is, I'm sorry, but that's, I don't know what the purpose of that would be. And then Neighborhood Pride Program, Councilman Sanchez. Again, look, here's the thing. These items to be considered, and sometimes they're good, sometimes I support them, but it's really about like, what are the priorities of the city? Like, what are we looking for? A neighborhood pride program? Like, how about just focus on homelessness? Just take 6 months and focus on homelessness and create a plan. You know, focus on Oxbow, focus on street paving, public safety, like all these other things. I just like Shandon Hills Golf Course, leave the golf course alone. You just put it under new management of the Arrowhead Golf Course people. Just like focus, people, focus. So you guys, this is it for tomorrow night. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to share. You can go to the council meetings. You can put it on Facebook. You can, what else can you do? You can go to close. Remember, I want to make sure that I tell you this. You can go to closed session and you can go to open session. So you will be able to have 2 separate comments if you want, and whatever you have. So yes, they're trying to confuse us with the noise. I 100% agree with you, Scott. I think all these extra, look, you know, it's all like, this sounds good and that sounds good. Hey, you know what would be a killer thing? You want to talk about revenue, Councilman Alexander? Let's please agendize the agreement that we have with the county for our fire services and looking at a true audit of the actual cost of services based against how much property tax we're actually giving the county, because I'm pretty sure we're due a refund. So, hey, fabulous idea that I have that no one else has. So just, you know, there's a great thing for resources. But you guys, I hope you have a great night. I hope you come to speak if anything is, you know, there for you guys, and have a great rest of your week. Stay cool and stay engaged, educated, and empowered. Have a good night, San Bernardino.